Hello and welcome to the Deep Dive. I am Maria. I'm going to be your guide today on this journey into learning English.
And I am Alex. It's really a pleasure to be here. My job is to help you understand the most important parts of speaking English well.
And today we are starting a very important deep dive. This one is made just for you, for our English learners who are at the A1 or A2 level.
That's right. If you are a beginner, this is for you.
Our topic for today is,
Well,
it's simple, but it is so essential. We're going to be talking about the weather.
yes. And we really do, that when you're learning a new language, well, starting a conversation can feel difficult. Oh, absolutely. It can even feel a little scary sometimes.
Exactly. But here's the secret. Learning to talk about the weather is often the first. And I think the easiest.
And most useful thing you can learn.
Absolutely. The most useful.
So, our promise to you today is that we will move very, very slowly.
Very clearly.
We want you to listen closely to how we say the words, to our pronunciation.
Our goal is to help you build real confidence when you speak English. So why the weather? Why is this topic so essential?
Well, it's because talking about the weather is, I would say, the #1 way to make small talk in many English-speaking countries.
That's a great point. And maybe we should explain what small talk is.
Good idea.
Small talk is a casual, very brief conversation.
It's not serious at all.
No. It's polite. It's friendly.
Right. You use small talk with people you don't know very well.
Or people you just meet for a moment.
Exactly. Like maybe you're waiting for a bus.
Or you're in an elevator.
Or standing next to someone before a meeting starts. These are perfect moments for small talk.
And small talk, especially about the weather, it helps you feel comfortable.
It breaks the silence.
It does. It's a simple way to start speaking English and, to help you get over that anxiety, that fear of speaking.
Right. And our mission today is to give you those foundational words.
The building blocks.
Yes, the building blocks. The words and the simple sentence structures you need for these very first conversations.
We'll be focusing on the most common English words. Words like be, is, it, and not.
And we will show you how to use them to build complete, useful sentences.
Now, before we really jump in, we do have a small request.
We do.
If you find this deep dive helpful, and if our slow, clear teaching style is working for you, please think about subscribing to our show.
And sharing this deep dive with other learners, well, it helps them learn English too. Thank you for helping our community of learners grow.
Okay, I think we're ready. Let's begin with the core vocabulary.
The essentials.
These are the words you will need, I think, almost every single day.
Okay, so we're going to focus on 5. Just 5 important words.
And we'll say them slowly. We really want you to repeat them out loud after us.
Yes. Saying the words out loud is so important. It's the best way to build your speaking muscles.
And to improve your pronunciation. So, please, speak with us.
All right.
Let's start.
Our first word. This word describes the temperature when you feel. Very good outside.
Right. It's not cold?
No, not at all. You feel happy. Maybe the sun is strong. You're thinking about going to the beach.
Exactly. The word is warm.
Warm.
Let's have you repeat that one time. Just say warm.
Good. Now let's say it very, very slowly. Listen carefully to each sound. W-A-R-M?
Warm.
So when we talk about warm, we're talking about the temperature. It feels comfortable,
Right. For example, our source material mentioned a place called Fairbanks in Alaska. And it said the summers there are short and warm.
Right. Let's try to put that word into a simple sentence.
Good idea.
Imagine you are outside. You feel the air. You can say, it is warm.
Can you repeat that? It is warm.
And if the weather is warm, what do you wear?
Maybe a t-shirt or shorts.
Exactly. Warm means a comfortable, nice temperature.
Okay, so now for the opposite of warm.
This is when the temperature is low. Very low.
This is when you definitely need a thick jacket or a coat.
Yes, and you probably want to stay inside, maybe next to a warm fire.
The word is cold.
Cold.
Let's have you repeat that one time. Cold.
Good. Now, slowly with me, C-O-L-D. And if we think about Fairbanks, Alaska again, the sources describe the winters there as being very long.
And very cold.
Exactly. And when it's cold, sometimes you might feel a little lonely or sad because you have to stay inside all day.
Right, so let's use this word in a sentence too.
Okay.
Imagine you walk outside and the air makes you shiver. You shake a little bit. You would say, it is cold.
Well, let's repeat that. It is cold.
So remember, these two words describe temperature. Warm and cold.
And they are adjectives. They describe a feeling, a condition.
Okay, word number 3. This one isn't about temperature. It's about water.
Right, the water that falls from the sky.
And when this happens, you absolutely need an umbrella.
Or you will get very wet.
Yes. The word is rain.
Rain.
Repeat that with us. Rain.
Great. Now let's do it slowly. R-A-I-N. Now, rain is a noun. It is a thing. But, and this is important, we often use it as a verb.
To describe the action.
Exactly. The action of raining. We're going to talk more about the grammar for that, for raining, in the next section.
But for now, just focus on the sound. Rain.
Think about the sound of rain on a window. Pitter-patter.
Sometimes it's a very light sound. Sometimes it's a very heavy sound.
But if you look outside and you see water falling from the clouds, you see rain.
Okay, our fourth word, it's a bit like rain.
It also falls from the sky.
But it only happens when the weather is very, very cold.
Right. This is white. It looks like white rain.
The word is snow.
Snow.
Let's repeat that. Snow.
And now, very slowly, S-N-O-W.
Snow.
So when it's very cold outside, you might see snow.
And you might wear big boots and gloves and a warm hat.
Right. You can walk in the snow. You can build things with the snow.
The snow is just frozen water. It's often very beautiful.
But it can only happen when the weather is very cold.
Okay, our final word for this section. This one describes the air.
Right. When the air is moving.
Not just moving, but moving very fast.
And you can feel it, you know? It might push against you. Or it moves your hair all around.
The word is windy.
Windy.
Let's repeat that. Windy.
And now, slowly with me. W-I-N-D-Y.
Windy.
When it's windy, you might hear a loud whooshing sound outside.
Or you might see the trees moving, bending back and forth.
And this word, windy, it's an adjective just like warm and cold. It describes a condition.
Okay, so to review, we have 5 essential words.
Warm,
Cold.
rain,
Snow.
and windy. Please, practice saying those words. Practice the sounds.
Now, this next part is really important.
Yes, very. We want to talk for a minute about how you can practice these words when you're not listening to this deep dive.
This is how you go from just knowing a word
To actually using a word.
Exactly. You have to move from passive listening to active incorporation.
Yeah.
You have to actively use the vocabulary.
That's the key. When you hear a new word, like when you are listening to us now, your brain, it recognizes it. That's the first step.
But that's not enough.
No. For your brain to remember it and, more importantly, use it in a conversation, you have to review it.
Quickly and systematically.
Yes. There's a method for this. It's called spaced repetition.
Let's explain that really simply.
Okay.
Think of your memory like a garden.
I like that.
When you learn a new word, it's like planting a seed.
Okay, the seed is planted.
But you have to water it. You water it today.
Hmm.
Then maybe you water it again in 2 days. Then again next week.
And then maybe a month from now.
Exactly. If you only water the seed once, it dies. You forget the word.
So spaced repetition just means reviewing the words at the right time, at these increasing intervals.
And the best tool for this is a flashcard app on your phone or computer.
Right. But when you make your flashcard, there's one critical rule, one very important rule.
What's that?
Do not write only the single word.
Ah, yes. This is a common mistake.
It is. Just writing the word cold on a flashcard is, well, it's not very helpful for speaking.
Why not?
Because when you speak, you don't use single words. You never just say cold. You use groups of words.
Sentences, phrases.
Exactly. We call these groups lexical chunks. A chunk is just a piece or a group.
So you want to learn the word and the grammar that goes with it all together as one piece.
Precisely. So for your flashcard, instead of just writing warm,
You should write the full sentence we're about to teach you. It is warm.
yes, when you learn that whole chunk, it is warm, you teach your brain the correct structure automatically.
And then later, when you're in a conversation and you speak quickly,
Your brain can just find the full correct phrase instantly. You don't have to think about the grammar.
that's how you get to fluency. If you only learn warm, you might forget the subject or the verb.
And you might just say warm, which, as we will learn, is not a complete sentence in English.
Okay, so to summarize this practice section, first, use spaced repetition.
Second, use flashcards.
And third, and most important, write the words in complete sentences, these lexical chunks.
Like, it is warm.
This really is the foundation of successful language learning.
Okay, now let's use those 5 words to build some simple, correct sentences.
This structure we're about to show you is the most common way to talk about the weather in English.
First, we need to talk about the subject of the sentence.
The subject, it.
In English, it's a very strict rule. Every complete sentence must have a subject and a verb.
No exceptions. The subject is the person or the thing doing the action.
But when we talk about the weather, what is the subject?
That's a good question. It's not a person, it's not a table.
You can't really point to it. So what do we do?
English has a special word for this, a placeholder.
We use the word it. It is the subject for all weather sentences.
And as we said, it is one of the most common words in English, so it's very important to learn.
So the essential phrase, the beginning of almost every weather sentence is, it is.
It is.
Let's just quickly review the verb to be. The word is the form of to be that we use with the subject it.
Right. The verb has to match the subject.
Yes, we have to conjugate it. Let's review this very slowly. Please repeat after us.
I am.
You are.
He, she, or it is.
We are.
They are.
So for the weather, we only need that one form.
It is. Let's repeat that again. It is.
Now, when native speakers talk, especially when they talk quickly, they often make this phrase shorter.
Right. They use something called a contraction.
A contraction just joins two words into one. It uses an apostrophe.
So the contraction for it is.
It sounds like one word. It's it apostrophe s.
Can you repeat the contraction? It's.
So when do you use each one?
Well, we use it is when we're speaking more formally, or maybe when we want to emphasize the verb.
And we use it's when we speak casually, more quickly.
But both are correct. 100% correct.
Okay, let's practice saying the full phrase and the contraction. We'll say them 5 times. Please say them out loud with us.
It is.
It's.
It is.
It is.
Okay, good. Now we have the beginning of our sentence.
Time to describe the weather. We need our adjectives. This is where we combine our structure, it is, with our new vocabulary words.
So the formula is very simple. Subject, which is it, verb, which is, plus an adjective like warm, cold, or windy.
Right. We use the adjective to describe the temperature or the condition of the air. It's very simple.
Let's practice. Please say these sentences clearly and slowly with us.
It is warm.
Repeat that. It is warm.
It is cold.
Now with a contraction. It's cold.
It is windy.
And again, it's windy.
Great. So we use that structure for adjectives.
But what about our other two words, rain and snow?
Yes. These are nouns, right? They're things.
They are. So to describe the weather happening right now, at this moment, we have to change the word a little bit.
This is a really key grammar point for beginners.
Mm-hmm.
When we describe an action that is happening now, we add the suffix, the ending, setching to the verb.
This creates what we call the present continuous tense. It's for actions in progress.
So, for example, it is grammatically incorrect to say, it is rain.
Right, that sounds wrong.
Instead, we say, it is raining.
We add ing to the word rain. And this tells the person listening that the rain is falling right at this moment.
Exactly. Let's repeat that full phrase slowly. It is raining.
So if you look out the window and you see water falling, you say, it is raining.
And the exact same rule applies to snow.
Right. We describe the action happening now by adding ing.
So we say, it is snowing.
Let's repeat the phrase for snow. It is snowing.
Okay, so let's just quickly summarize the difference here.
Good idea.
We use the simple adjective for temperature and conditions.
It is cold. It is windy.
And we use the ing form for precipitation, for the action of falling.
It is raining. It is snowing.
Okay. Now, we have to repeat something we said before because it is so important.
Foundational rule.
Yes, you must always have the subject, it, and the verb is in your weather sentence.
If you forget the subject and the verb, what you say is called a sentence fragment.
A fragment is a piece. It's incomplete. It's not grammatically correct.
For example, if you just say, cold,
Or,
a native speaker will probably understand what you mean.
yes, they will. They will understand you mean it is cold.
But our goal is to help you speak correctly. So you must learn to say the full phrase.
You must say, it is cold.
Or, it is raining.
Always, always make sure your sentence has the subject, it, and the verb is.
This focus on structure, on connecting the vocabulary to the right grammar. This is how you start to speak English with confidence.
Okay, so now we know how to answer the question.
Right. Now we need to know how to ask the question.
And there are two very simple, very common ways to ask about the weather.
The first way is what we call an information question. We use the question word how.
The full question is, how is the weather?
Let's repeat that slowly. And listen to how our voice goes up a little at the end. How is the weather?
And when someone asks you this, you can answer with any of the sentences we just practiced.
For example, someone asks, how is the weather?
You can answer, it is warm.
Or you could answer with a new word, a word related to the sun.
Ah, yes, the noun is the sun.
But when the sun is very bright and strong, we use the adjective.
Sunny. Sunny. Let's repeat that. Sunny.
So a simple conversation could be, question, how is the weather?
Answer, it is sunny.
Perfect. Now, the second way to ask a question is even simpler. It's a yes-no question.
Right, a question where the only answer is yes or no.
And to make a yes-no question, all we have to do is reverse the subject and the verb.
So we take the statement, it is cold.
And we just flip them. It becomes the question, is it cold?
Let's repeat that. And again, listen to the rising intonation. Is it cold?
We can do this with any of our adjectives.
The statement is, it is windy.
And the question is it windy?
The answers are also very simple.
If the answer is yes, you can just say, yes, it is.
Or you can give the full answer, yes, it is cold.
But what if the answer is no?
Then we must use the word not. Not is the word we use to make a sentence negative.
And it's another one of those super important high-frequency words.
The word not almost always comes right after the verb is.
Okay, let's practice a negative answer. The question is it warm?
And let's say the answer is no.
You would say, no, it is not warm.
We can also use contractions here, like it's not warm or it isn't warm.
But, for beginners, I think sticking with the full form, it is not,
Yeah,
is the clearest way to start.
I agree. Let's stick with that for today.
So, another example. The weather is raining, and someone asks you, is it sunny?
You answer, no, it is not sunny, it is raining.
Perfect. So we have covered the vocabulary
The basic sentence structure.
and the two main ways to ask a question.
We have built a very strong foundation.
Now for the fun part. We have to practice.
Yes. We'll use these structures in 3 real-life situations. This is how you move the knowledge from your memory to your mouth.
We are going to act out 3 very short conversations.
And this is so important because it gives you
Yeah.
kind of real-life interaction, but in a very safe environment.
And just a reminder, we'll be speaking very slowly, much slower than a normal conversation.
This is so you can listen, process, and understand every single word. Try to imagine the situation in your mind.
Okay, ready for scenario A.
Let's do it.
In this first scenario, 2 people are inside a room.
And we are trying to decide if we should go outside right now. We're looking out the window.
The goal here is to use what we see with our eyes, our direct observation, and the it is structure.
I'm ready.
Look outside.
Oh, the sky is cloudy. Is it raining?
No, it is not raining,
Oh,
but it is cold.
okay. We need our jackets.
Unseen. Simple, quick dialogue.
Well, let's break down that first phrase you said, look outside.
Yes. This is what we call a direct command. You are telling the other person to do something.
It's a very common, very natural way to start a weather conversation. Just point.
Exactly. And notice the flow of the conversation.
Right. It moved from observation to a question to a statement.
I first observed, the sky is cloudy. And by the way, cloudy is another great adjective. It just means the sky is full of clouds.
Then you asked a simple yes-no question. Is it raining?
And I gave the answer using the negative. It is not raining.
But it is cold.
Right. And because of that fact,
Oh.
because it is cold, there's a practical outcome.
We need our jackets.
The weather description leads directly to an action. And that is the whole point of practical language.
Okay, on to scenario B,
In this one, we're connecting the weather to a daily task.
planning an outfit, deciding what to wear.
The goal here is to use the question, how is the weather? And connect the answer to clothing, like a jacket.
Rudy,
How is the weather today?
the sun is strong. It is warm.
Should I take a jacket?
No, it is
Yeah.
very warm. You do not need a jacket.
Okay, end of dialogue. Let's analyze the key question here.
Should I take a jacket?
The word should. This is a special kind of verb called a modal verb.
Modal verbs are very useful. They help change the meaning of the main verb. And we use should when we are asking for,
Advice.
exactly, advice, or when we're planning something.
So when you ask, should I take a jacket? You're really asking for your friend's opinion.
Is this a good idea or a bad idea?
Right. And your answer was very clear. You said, it is very warm. You do not need a jacket.
And that shows the direct link. The weather condition, warm, leads to the action. Do not need a jacket.
This is how you make language useful. You connect the words to real daily actions, like choosing your clothes.
And I also want to point out the phrase, the sun is strong.
Yes, that's a good one.
We learned the adjective sunny, but the sun is strong is another one of those lexical chunks, a common phrase that people use.
It means it's bright and probably hot.
Right. Okay, let's do that same scenario again, but really fast. This time, the weather is the opposite.
How's the weather today?
It is cold. The sky is gray.
Should I take a jacket?
Yes, it is very cold. You need a jacket and maybe a hat.
Thank you.
See? It shows how flexible these simple phrases are.
Okay, time for our final scenario. Scenario C.
Here, we are practicing small talk in a social situation.
Imagine you're in an elevator with someone, or standing in line for coffee.
The goal is to show how you use weather talk to be polite, start a very quick chat, and then end it.
Ready.
Ready.
Nice weather today, right?
Yes, the sun is warm.
I agree. I like warm weather.
Me too. Have a nice day.
And that's it. A perfect, simple example of small talk.
It was very fast, very simple.
Let's break down that first phrase I used. Nice weather today, right?
This is such a great social tool.
It is. Instead of asking a real question, you just make a simple statement. The weather is nice.
But then you add that little word at the end.
Right.
And this is called a tag question.
When you add a tag question,
Ah.
like, right, or is in it, to a statement, you are politely asking the other person for agreement.
You are inviting them to speak, but with no pressure.
It makes it so easy for them to answer. They almost always just say yes.
Exactly. The point isn't really to talk about the weather. The point is the shared agreement. It's about being friendly.
Right. And you could do the opposite if the weather was bad.
Of course. You could say, terrible weather today, right?
And the person would say, yes, it's raining so much, it works both ways. This kind of practice, even just listening to us do it, is so helpful for building your confidence.
It really is. And remember, when you're truly learning a new skill, you should feel a little bit of difficulty.
That's a great point.
If it feels too easy all the time, you're not learning as fast as you could be, that little bit of discomfort is where you make progress.
Well, we have spent a lot of time practicing our 5 core words and the it is structure.
We've done it across 3 different real-life situations.
I think we are ready to summarize and give you your homework.
Let's do it.
We have finished our deep dive into talking about the weather, so let's do a very quick, very clear review of the most important things.
Okay, we focused on 3 key vocabulary concepts. Please repeat them with us one last time, very clearly.
Old
Warm.
and rain, which becomes raining.
Then we learned the most important grammar rule for today.
Every English sentence must have a subject and a verb.
And for weather, we use the simple structure, it is.
This creates our core sentence. Subject it, plus verb is, plus adjective cold.
And remember, you must always use the full structure. Don't use a sentence fragment.
You must say, it is snowing, not just snowing.
Now, I just have one final message for you today, and it's about the one ingredient you need for fluency.
And that is?
Consistency.
Yes, learning English is wonderful, but it requires practice every single day.
Consistent practice, even if it's just for a few minutes, we call them sprints, it boosts your memory and your confidence so much over time.
The more you practice listening and speaking, the more comfortable you will feel.
And remember this important fact from language learning research. When you improve your listening skills, like by listening carefully to us today, it has a positive effect on all your other skills.
Your reading, your writing.
And your speaking, they all get better when your listening gets better.
Okay. So now we have a very simple challenge for you.
We want you to use your new English skills right now, immediately.
So please, look out your window. Wherever you are, do it right now.
What is the weather like?
And now, say a sentence out loud in English, using the structure you learned today. Say, it is.
Don't just think it in your head, say it out loud. It is sunny, or it is cold.
Practice that pronunciation. Make the sounds.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive.
If you enjoyed this slow, clear lesson and it helped you, please subscribe to our show.
And if you can, please leave a comment on this deep dive.
Tell us in simple English what the weather is like in your city today. Use your new phrase, it is.
We wish you a wonderful day.
And we hope to see you for your next English deep dive. Goodbye for now.